Open the gates, ye ruler. I give command, and I bring them. Giants are coming to fulfill my wrath.
The return of the giants is not only prophesied in the Bible, but appears consistently as an end times theme in many ancient cultures all over the earth, including among the Native Americans who actually believe the giants inhabiting the underworld are going to emerge at the end of the age during a time of great tribulation. Some of the most top secret military operations happening all over and under the earth are conducted for the seizure of high-value ancient artifacts related to the pre-flood world, fallen angels, and giants. The stage is now set for mankind to bring about the reemergence of the Rephaim, while occultists are attempting to harness the ancient necromancy of the Canaanites. Genetic engineers are working to reconstitute the genome of the giants with modern technology.
Following the second Iraq war, I happened to be on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie one night, and George asked me, he said, Tom, given the fact that there is very little evidence to tie Saddam Hussein into what happened on 9/11, he said, what do you think the true story is? Why did we actually go in to Iraq and put a presence on the ground? And so I said, well, there's a lot of theories around this, George. Some people believe that our war colleges was telling us we needed to establish a presence. And so we created a false flag in order to invade this otherwise sovereign country. Others believe that we went there because of the oil. And so the great oil families, the Bushes, had a private interest in invading Iraq to establish a presence there. But then there were those who believed that because Saddam Hussein, who considered himself to be the resurrected Nebuchadnezzar, and had spent literally tens of millions of dollars rebuilding parts of ancient Babylon, that in all of his digs and excavations that perhaps they had found something, and U.S. intelligence was aware of it, and that we had created a pretext so that we could invade Iraq to take possession of those artifacts. Now, it sounds like a conspiracy theory, and I was on the Coast to Coast AM radio show with George Norrie, unaware of the fact that listening to that program was a curator for the Iraq Museum, the Babylonian Museum. So the show goes off. I hang up the phone. I'm getting ready to shut my computer off, and my computer pings that I've got an email, and I look up, and it's a curator from the Babylonian Museum. And they wanted me to know that what I was talking about was absolutely true, that we had gone into Iraq to capture something that Saddam Hussein had dug up from out of the plains of Shinar. So I vetted the email. Instead of using their link, I went to Google and typed in the Babylonian Museum to make sure I had the official website. They invited me to use a / to an administrative page inside the museum, and they gave me a password. I used it and tried it, and in fact it worked. And it opened up, and I was blown away by what I saw on these pages. Literally hundreds and hundreds of pictures of the very first day that the United States put troops on the ground in Iraq. We had flown a transport helicopter with a bunch of Marines who met at the Babylonian Museum with the U.S. ambassador. Whoever's taking these pictures, they've got a camera. It's just click, 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 click. I mean, literally every second another picture. And so I was able to follow the trail of the ambassador. There's a woman with the traditional head wrap around her head that meets them outside of the Babylonian Museum, and they follow her. They go into the Babylonian Museum. They go to a great big door in the back of the museum. She unlocks this door, a very wide set of steps going down into a secret room that's down below the Iraq Museum. And the Marines, they all go down, and there are these very large crates inside this room, 3-4 times as big as a full-size human adult casket. Large, square, maybe 4 feet off the ground, 3 feet off the ground. And so the Marines come in, and they start popping the tops with crowbars off the top of all these boxes. And they're pulling all kinds of gold masks, jewelry, cuneiform circular tablets, all kinds of stuff up out of these boxes. They're looking at it. But it becomes obvious that they're actually searching for something because they keep putting these treasures that would be, the value is incalculable, right? But they keep looking for something else, and they're moving through to the back. And I go through these pictures hour after hour. I'm totally exhausted. I'm wanting to go to sleep. But finally they get to the back of this underground room, and these very large crates, and they pop the top off, and now they don't take anything out. I can't see what's in the box, but obviously it's something they're very excited about, because they motion for the ambassador and this woman, and they go over in front of the Marines, and they're looking down inside these crates, and he orders them to nail that one back up closed. Then they open another one, same thing. All these ones are in the back of the room by this back wall, and then the Marines are all brought in, and they get around these giant crates, and they carry them up this flight of stairs to the transport helicopter. They're all smiling about something. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what was in the boxes, because unlike the other headgear and jewelry and all these other artifacts, whatever this was, they didn't take it out of those crates. Was it the remains of giants? Was it perhaps the remains of Nimrod? Was it some kind of angelic technology? I don't know. I can only speculate, but I do know this for sure, that for whatever other reasons we invaded Iraq, we definitely went there day one when we put troops on the ground to go down into the bottom of the Baghdad Museum and carry huge crates up out of the bottom of that museum that had been hidden there by Saddam Hussein. Unfortunately, not long after that event, my home with the computer and all of the images burned to the ground under somewhat curious circumstances. I was in the house. I heard a series of popping sounds. I went to try to locate where the popping sounds were coming from and saw fire coming through the side of the wall of the house. And within a very short period of time, the house burned to the ground, and I lost that computer and everything that was in it.
During the expedition in Sardinia, I heard rumors of a deep black market that exists worldwide for the trafficking of arcane artifacts, including the bones of giants and the treasures associated with them. Sardinians joke that the richest people on the island are archaeologists, because it's common knowledge that many of the priceless artifacts extracted from the Nuragic ruins disappear into the black market, where they are sold to representatives of prominent occult practitioners embedded into the highest echelons of society, including top-tier politicians from all over the earth and eminent churchmen from the Vatican. The global cover-up of giants is not only fueled by ideologies hostile to the biblical worldview, it is also fueled by billions of dollars in artifacts and treasures discovered among the bones of the giants that never see the light of day.
The ancient giants, both pre-flood and post-flood, were in possession of advanced knowledge and technology that is not only coveted by occult practitioners and collectors of rare antiquities, but also by military operatives. A super soldier genetic arms race has been escalating behind the scenes for many years. The military complexes of first world nations are actively pursuing the development of superhuman fighting machines. There is a multi-billion-dollar black market for extractable DNA from the tissue and the bones of dead giants. Military genetic engineers are attempting to isolate the angelic genes that giants inherited from their fallen angel fathers and unlock the secrets of their size, strength, and supernatural capabilities. What happens when those who believe they can control the giants find out the hard way that human beings have always been nothing more than a convenient meal for them? Just like the Navajo legend of the Anasazi, who through sorcery opened a portal to the underworld and unleashed giants upon the earth that devoured them all, the enemies of God are about to become the architects of their own divine judgment.